today we should talk about whose company is going to come up with an IPO on the SME platform. And if we get to know some points from him, I think it will be a great learning for all of us. So I would like to welcome Dr. Sane on our channel, and he is going to come out with his company's IPO, not on the main board platform, but on the SME IPO platform. So warm welcome, Dr. Sane. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you, Archana. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I'm getting a feeling of asking this typical question. How are you feeling about your IPO going live on the BSE? So is it going to be listed on both the exchanges, or how are you planning to do
It's on NSE.
that? Okay.
It's on NSE merge. And yes, I'm feeling on the top of the clouds because it's normally a dream coming true for any entrepreneur that's starting back in last 15, 16 years and now jumping on to the stage where we can get an IPO of our company. That's a dream coming true. So it's a great feeling altogether.
Amazing. So I do have certain questions, because when I was going through your documents, I found few confusion points. So it will be great if you can clarify these points.
Sure.
Number one, I was checking your qualification. It mentions that you have qualified with allopathy as a main pathy, but you practice Ayurveda. The name that I was going through has Sane Lab, but the logo somewhere mentions Madhavbaug. So I would love if you clear the confusion about these 2 points, and also
Yes.
if you can tell us the story about how a doctor is coming up with an IPO. So how has been the journey from being qualified as a doctor to a company which is coming up with an IPO on the SME platform?
Okay, so many questions together, Rachana.
Yeah.
But I'll try to answer one by one. First of all, yes, you are right. I've done my MBBS. I've done my fellowship in cardiac rehab from Apollo Hospital. And after getting my allopathic knowledge, then I have tried to learn most of the things of Ayurveda from my father, who is no more. In 2004, he passed away. And since then, I have tried to develop this organization called Madhavbaug, which has been devoted in the name of my father, because my full name is Dr. Rohit Sane. And for his when I was trying to manage his emergency in the hospital for all those 17 days where he was in the state of coma, so I was trying to save him, but at the end of the 17 days I couldn't save him. And there is where I realized that there is something like prevention which is very, very important, which is not known to allopathy to that level. So there is where the things quite got realized to me, and I tried learning more about the preventive science of Indian origin, that is Ayurveda, and took the science ahead and tried to standardize the therapies, which has normally been the negative point in Ayurveda, that most of the therapies, most of the medicines would have not been standardized. But being from the allopathic side, being from the modern side, I've tried to standardize the therapies, standardize the medicines, and the improvement which has been marked in the patient is been marked with the modern technology, and the therapies that we do is with Ayurveda. Such a unique combination of whole application of this medical knowledge is nothing else but Madhavbaug. And as you asked, yes, the whole story that began with dad's demise, and then the whole things came on to this point that I had to develop all these new strategies, new innovative therapies, and coming ahead for treatment. So today, as of now, we have a good big chain of clinics all over the nation, and we are trying to reverse diabetes, blood pressure, and all these diseases going ahead in the future.
Amazing. So how many hospitals have you built up, or do you give any sort of franchisee or something like that? How does it work?
Yes. So, as a whole, when we began in the year 2006, we started with the first hospital at Khopoli, that's near Mumbai. And later on, when I realized that the treatments going on in the hospitals are worthy, they are helping out the patients to a very good extent. But at the same time, I realized that these lifestyle disorders need a sort of community kind of care, in which
Hmm.
the patient has to visit the daycare facility, the patient has to visit the doctor for regular intervals, in which this lifestyle disorder needs to be reversed to certain extent, where it
Hmm.
doesn't create any adverse effects for the patients. Hence, I realized that we need some kind of clinics around the community places for the patient. Hence,
True.
after this Khopoli hospital, we started with coming up with the clinics. So
Okay.
these clinics, we have about 265 centers all over the nation. We are there
Okay.
in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, Goa, Karnataka, Delhi, Tamil Nadu,
Oh,
Chhattisgarh.
huh.
So about 9 to 10 states that we are available in, and more than 450 doctors are there working with us through a franchise model as well as through company clinics. So as a whole, if at all we say that yes, we do have a franchising model, because the whole IP, the whole treatment protocols belong to us, and the doctors who practice these treatment protocols for the patients, they are licensed to treat those patients from Madhavbaug, and
Hmm.
these patients then try to treat these doctors try to treat these patients so as to reverse their diseases. So the whole
Got it.
concept lies behind reversing the diseases, like for
Hmm.
example diabetes, blood pressure, maybe heart diseases. People who have planned to undergo angiography, they do undergo angiography, they find blockages in their coronary arteries, and most of the Indians don't afford to go for the costly treatments of modern medicine
Hmm.
like angioplasty and bypass surgery. There is where we help them out to get out of this whole problem, and gradually when the disease gets reversed, the life expectancy of these patients is far more better than that compared to modern medicine. So this is a well going treatment going on all over the nation now, and I'm sure that in the coming days we'll be there all over all the states of our nation.
Amazing. A quick question to you, like if a patient gets admitted in any of your hospitals or any of your clinics, and assume that person does have a health insurance, then I'm not sure. I mean, I've never heard about this, so just thought of asking that. Is health insurance also? I mean, do the insurance companies give a claim settlement even if it's a Ayurvedic hospital or an Ayurvedic clinic? If you can just tell us about that.
Yes, yes, yes. They do in hospitals wherever the patients have a 24-hour residential accommodation in with a health practitioner. Yes, they do get insured for that, and the claims are settled by the patients themselves as
Okay.
well. Now, as you asked about having an insurance claim getting settled in the clinics,
Mhm.
which was normally not available in the past, but recently, as per the IRDA news that has come in, say about a year back, they
Mhm.
have made it mandatory for all the insurance players to have Ayush services covered for the clinic treatments also. So,
Oh,
in the future, I am sure that as soon as we are trying to get empaneled with all these different insurance players, so I'm sure as we go ahead and as we get empaneled with them, the clinic treatments that are available also will get insured in the coming next few months as such.
amazing. Now that you are telling that yes, you are expanding and you have a lot of clinics, you're almost present in 10 states in our country. While expanding your business, do you feel that technology also does play an important role in your case? So have you thought about building your own app or some website or
Yes,
something like that? If you
yes,
can talk
yes,
about it.
you are absolutely right. Because if at all we see and go back into the past, we could see that Ayurveda was a science which always lacked in technology. And
Mhm.
there is where we have tried to work a lot onto it. Right
Mhm.
now, we have a mobile app which is there on Android as well as on iOS platform. And
Okay.
this MIB Pulse app, which is available free to all these users, this app already has more than 1.5 lakh patients onto it, which are connected. All these 1.5 lakh patients are connected with these 450 doctors and keep on chatting with the doctors whenever they need, along with their vitals. So
Okay.
whenever we are supposed to reverse a disease, a close monitoring is required to reverse these diseases, and that is what happens with this technology platform that is called as MIB Pulse app. Now, this is
Got
the patient end of this app. While along with this, we also have a technology in the clinics called as clinic management system, where
it.
the doctor has the whole hold on the patient's vitals as well as the patient's progress. Now,
Hmm.
along with these two ends, one is of the patient's end and one is on the doctor's end, we have tried recently building a artificial intelligence kind of platform which
Mhm.
is called as our power map. that is
Okay.
Medical Analysis Panel. And recently, Shri Nitin Gadkari ji had inaugurated the Power Map, which is an artificial intelligence kind of panel in which the doctors would be guided for the betterment of the patients, that whenever a patient tries to enroll in any kind of treatment program, the
Mhm.
doctor will be guided about what medicines are going to be the best for this patient,
Mhm.
what therapies are going to be best for this patient, how much time would this patient take to get improvement as per the required protocols, as well as the total 10 to 15 lakh patient data that we have in our clinic management system since last 16 years. On the basis of this data, the whole power map, we are trying to build it in this way that in the future this power map would give complete highlights to the doctor about what kind of medicines, what kind of therapies, and how much time is this patient going to take to recover from the disease, so that the patient as well as the doctor has a clear roadmap of about his own treatment and what is going to be his reversal time in the future. So that is how technology is helping us to make Ayurveda as a modernized kind of treatment approach.
Amazing. I think this is something really nice to hear about, because generally what we talk about, the technology and allopathy generally is what we can think of. But whenever I remember, I used to go to Ayurvedic doctors. In the when I was small, at that time he used to have all those different. It smells something different in the Ayurvedic clinic, right?
True,
And
true.
all those
Yes.
jadi booty and all that he used to mix up, and pretty sour
I
tasting.
can understand.
I remember drinking all the kadhas and all that, right? So,
That was a huge limitation to Ayurveda, but we have tried to mask the taste of those medicines. We have tried to
oh, wow,
make those medicines palatable, and things are still going on. I am sure that all the people will normally be liking Madhavbaug medicines as we go
yeah,
ahead in the future.
very nice, amazing. So, going ahead with your question, I was actually checking your financial statements, and when I was checking, so because now that we have understood the business side of it, how what the business model is now. We come to the financial statements, right? So I was under the impression that because of COVID, ideally, like other hospitals, whatever analysis we do, they did see a surge. We did see a good surge even in labs and all that, where the testing was on a higher side. Uh, I was under the impression that even for your organization, the graph will be upwards for all 3 years back to back. But then I saw some, topsy turvy lines. How is that so? Has COVID had a positive impact or a negative impact on your financials?
Okay. As we know that COVID, we had seen the worst lockdown in our whole life. We haven't seen anything like this. This was for the first time, and people who were into this field of treating COVID as well as diagnosing COVID and getting something out of that COVID, all those people had a good revenue in those times. But to be very honest, we being in the non-communicable disease treatments, like we treat diseases which are diabetic, which are hypertensive, heart diseases, angioplasty, bypass surgeries, we avoid them, and these are all non-communicable diseases, while COVID was a communicable disease. Now we had n number of opportunities where we could have changed our vision and mission and gone down to the communicable disease treatment of COVID, but consciously we took that decision that we are a company who is driven with our mission and vision, and whatever happens, I would not leave our mission and vision. Because to go back in the year 2004 when I lost my father, that was the day when I took an oath that if at all I have not saved my father, being an emergency physician, I couldn't save my father. I took an oath on that day itself that it is now my moral duty to fight against heart disease and free our nation from heart disease. And that is what is the mission and vision that we drive the organization with. So that was a conscious decision not to go behind COVID, because I am sure that COVID would end in some days as going ahead. And later on, there would be nothing called as COVID. So at that time, we had a conscious decision that we would not enter into any kind of communicable disease, because the organization's fundamental is very clear that we are supposed to go for non-communicable diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, heart disease, what we are masters in. So
Got it.
we try to be with that. Yes, and due to that COVID times, all the patients were locked out in their houses, as well as the doctors were locked in their houses, as well as the therapists were locked in the houses. In spite of that, our doctors came to the clinic, they helped a number of patients, and we lost one of our doctor also in this
Oh,
COVID era, fighting against this COVID, helping the patient out. So at this moment, we tried to treat the patients on the mobile app. That is what I just explained about MIB Pulse app. We help the patients free of cost. We ask the patients to stay back at their home, not to leave their houses. Whatever help they require, our therapist would drive their motorbikes to their patients' residence, carry the medicines to them, and that was delivered to the patients free of cost. And that is what we did during COVID. That is the basic fundamental of Madhavbaug. We are there to help the patients, and we want our patients to be absolutely safe. And we had a very good improvement ratio in our patients during the COVID times also. So wherein we could see that during COVID times, the diabetes, blood pressure had surged like anything, and the deaths majorly were due to diabetes and blood pressure. In our patients, we hardly had any patients who had died due to COVID or due to any other comorbidities. So that is the reason where the revenue had gone down, because we had treated the patients free of cost for that kind of time.
absolutely. One more quick question from my side. Now that you are, of course, coming up with an IPO, there might have been certain thought process, like typically all the IPO, any company which comes up with an IPO, they disclose what are their objects of the issue. So what are they going to do with the money that they are going to raise? So what are your plans about the money that will be raised through the IPO, if you can talk about it?
We are raising about 20-21 crore, and out of which 16 crore, a big chunk is going to go into the marketing side of the whole thing. Now a question arises, why are we investing so high in marketing? The reason is very, very simple, that we have now the whole infrastructure laid. The infrastructure is completely robust. Now we have more than 265 clinics, more than 450 doctors, more than 1,000 people staff in the whole all these clinics and hospitals. And due to this, we have a footfall of more than about new 50,000 and more patients coming down every year for their annual treatment plans. And hence we have a total footfall of about 6 lakh people coming down to all these clinics every year. So as a whole, if at all we see, the whole infrastructure which is ready now, this is ready to treat more and more number of patients. So as we go ahead, if at all we drive more number of patients coming inside the clinic through marketing efforts, I am sure that both the things would be achieved, that the company also will be doing good as we go ahead in the future. As well, our nation would be freeing more and more number of patients out of these diseases and getting a good quality and quantity of life as we go ahead.
Amazing. And if I may ask, what is the opening date of this IPO, and till what date it
10th,
will be open for
10th
the
of February we are opening
okay,
till 15th. Yes.
10th February you're going to open up.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing. I wish you all the very best for your IPO, and
Thank you.
I wish you loads of luck, and whatever your dreams are, let all these dreams come true. You are surely, having a great cause for the nation as well. You want to see a healthy India, I can say, with
Yes.
minimal invasive techniques which are
Absolutely.
used. So all the very best. Any closing thoughts, Dr. Sane?
Closing thoughts would be very similar, that Ayurveda, which has been the nation's basic heritage, this has to grow. The existing government is also helping out Ayurveda. It is taking Ayurveda to a different platform altogether. All over the world, if at all we see, Ayurveda is getting um, uh, uh, good amount of things from the other nations also. Now this is the time where India has to come up with their own therapies of Ayurveda and take these things ahead. I am sure with the help of these kind of preventive kind of therapies, I am sure that in the coming future, Madhavbaug would be called up as an organization to free India from the menace of heart diseases, diabetes and blood pressure.
Amazing, amazing. I think that's very inspiring. And again, let me wish you all the very best for
Thank
your
you.
IPO, upcoming IPO. And that's it, I guess. Thanks a lot for taking out
Thank you.
time and
Thank you, everybody.
telling our viewers about the SME platform IPO, right? So thanks a lot once again.
Thank you very much.